World Bank, corruption is defined as the abuse of public office for private gains. Public office is abused for private gains when an official accepts, edicts, or extorts a bribe. It is also abused when a private agent actively offers bribes to circumvent public policies and processes for competitive advantage and profit. A very good evening to you and welcome to another edition of The Eagle. My name is Aisha Agambari. Thank you for joining us.
EFCC will get you anywhere, anytime.
On today's edition of the program, we shall be bringing you the concluding part of our interview with General Ibrahim Babangida. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, also arraigned 9 suspected oil thieves before a federal high court in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. Please stay tuned as we bring you this and other reports after this timeout. Don't go away.
Cheers! Cheers! What is it?
Please, keep to yourself. Chief Urabo, I got a telephone call.
Anytime I close my eyes,
yes,
I see dead people chasing me in my sleep.
My Jova Magadam.
Chief, is it possible for someone to become restless just because of his past deeds?
Nevertheless, unless you kill somebody dead, then the spirit will be haunted you. Hey! Was you all contractors?
I embezzled all the money for the roads that are now death traps, killing people every day. I approved the supplies of fake drugs on pipe and water. I embezzled the money at the fear, Chief.
You are supposed to fly a special man that the people of EFCC are chasing people who are doing to submit other people's money. EFCC, as soon as they capture them, straight to prison.
Chief,
jail. How you are? Life are not just about acquire wealth, making money. When other people are they die of hunger and neglect. Be careful. EFCC I watch.
EFCC will get you anywhere, anytime.
We'll begin today's program with the conviction and sentence of one Promise Intwem Ekemini to 1 year imprisonment for offences bordering on cybercrime. Rahima Gambo has more.
Justice Kudirat Jose of the Lagos State High Court has handed 1 year imprisonment to one Promise Intwem Ekemini for hacking the email of a lawful owner of a property located in Western Australia valued at 800,000 United States dollars and attempting to sell the property. Ekemini, University undergraduate, was first arraigned in April 2014 on a 5-count charge bordering on conspiracy to defraud, attempt to obtain money by false pretenses, and forgery. Justice Jose found him guilty of all the charges and convicted him. His sentence is to run from the day of his arraignment. Ekemini got into trouble when he impersonated one Brian Roderick Daniel, owner of a property located at 143 Springaway Parade, Falcon, Western Australia. The convict was said to have offered the said property as his own to prospective buyers on the internet without the consent of the owner. The owner discovered and consequently reported to the Western Australian police, who in turn posed as buyers of the said property in order to nab the convict. Based on a memorandum of understanding signed between the EFCC and the Western Australian Police in 2011, the Australian Police Authority alerted the EFCC about the suspicious activities of the convict. The EFCC was to monitor and control delivery of some documents related to the transactions to Ekemini. He was, however, arrested at the point of collecting the documents. In another development, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has dragged one Sylvester Inemali before Justice Lambo Akambi of the Federal High Court, Port Harcourt, Rivers State, for offences bordering on forgery. The accused is alleged to have in January 2014 forged the signature of one Opalua Mark in an attempt to withdraw 170,000 naira from a security firm's account, Rock Hill Security Guards Limited. The accused pleaded not guilty to the 2-count charge preferred against him by the EFCC. Justice Akombi granted the accused bail in the sum of 500,000 naira and 2 sureties in like sum. The sureties must have landed properties within the jurisdiction of the court. The matter was adjourned to March 25, 2015 for hearing. Rahima Gambo reporting for The Eagle.
For me to buy correct motor, for me to take make my dough, Maga no need pay. Maga no need pay.
Reminiscing as I walk to my car, thinking about how we used to be. For Ekuma, I did ride Okada, and most times I did so carry. I wanted to change the way I live, but I didn't have to do those things. Now I'm rolling VIP, and all the girls wanna be like me. Yeah. You ask me how I deal with my reality. Gotta tell you truly, it ain't easy now. I feel the pressure to find something wrong to do. Then I remember you reap what you sow. Now I'm sitting staring at the screen of my computer, thinking really hard about what truly matters. What's with all this data? Just to catch a maga. He could have been my father or someone else's brother.
For me to buy correct motor, for me to take make my dough, Maga no need pay.
9 persons have been dragged before a federal high court sitting in Port Harcourt, River State, for offences bordering on illegal dealing in petroleum products. The suspects were intercepted while transferring suspected crude oil from 2 vessels that are currently being investigated by the EFCC. Thelma Eke is our guide.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, is currently prosecuting 9 suspected oil thieves before Justice Lambo Akombi of a federal high court sitting in Port Harcourt, River State. The 9 suspects arraigned on a 2-count charge of conspiracy and illegal dealing in petroleum products are Clement Oguntuashe, Joseph Obey, Ifeoluwa Albert, Adams Amzat Akohia, and Isaac Ndidi Chima. Others are Rafiu Momodu, Razak Mahmoud, Godwin George, and Thomas Daniel. The accused persons pleaded not guilty to the charges. They were intercepted aboard a vessel MB Sky by men of the Joint Task Force JTF Operation Polo Shield on November 14, 2014 on Brass Waters, close to Nigeria Ajib Oil Company, Bayelsa State, while transferring suspected crude oil from 2 vessels, MT Surgeon D and MT Elimina, which were under investigation for alleged oil theft. In view of their plea, the prosecuting counsel, A.I. Aroga, asked for a date for the commencement of trial, but the defense counsel, A.A. Adetunji, orally presented a bail application and urged the court to grant the accused persons bail. Justice Akombi granted the accused persons bail in the sum of 500,000 naira each and a surety in like sum, who must reside within the jurisdiction of the court. The matter was adjourned till March 11, 2015 for commencement of trial. Still on persecutions, a 77-year-old woman, Alhaja Mulikat Shonekan, and 2 others, Martins Ogiogwa and 1 Mujekan Petroleum Nigeria Company Limited, are currently being persecuted before Justice Oluwatoyin Ikpaye of Lagos State High Court, Ikeja. The EFCC had on Wednesday, November 26, 2014, arraigned the suspects on a 5-count charge bordering on conspiracy to obtain money under false pretense and issuance of Dutch check. They, however, pleaded not guilty to the charges. Counsel to Mulikat Shonekan and Mujekan Petroleum Nigeria Company Limited, Bamidele Ogundele, tabled an application for bail, asking the court to grant them bail on the grounds of old age and health condition, emphasizing that the septuagenarian would not jump bail. While opposing the bail applications, the prosecuting counsel, Anselm Ozioko, asked for a trial date. He told the court that the commission has concluded its investigations into the matter and ready to commence trial. Counsel to the second defendant, Austin Akwamrita, also presented a bail application and prayed the court to grant his request. After listening to arguments from both sides, Justice Ikpaye granted bail to the first defendant, Mulikat Shonekan, and second defendants, Martins Ogiogwa, in the sum of 5 million naira and 10 million naira respectively, with 2 sureties each in like sum. According to the judge, one of the sureties must be a blood relation of the accused persons, who must show evidence of tax payment for 3 years. The matter was adjourned to 3rd and 4th February 2015 for commencement of trial. Selma Ake, reporting for the Eagle.
Glad to have you back. Still on prosecution, a Port Harcourt businessman, Christian Odum, is currently facing charges for allegedly using his company, Unicrease International Limited, to defraud one Peter Akinyosoye by claiming to be a staff of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC. The report is presented by Golden Agu.
Christian Odum was arraigned before Justice U.N. Agomo of the Federal High Court, Port Harcourt, on charges bordering on conspiracy, forgery and obtaining money under false pretense. Odum and his co-accused, Stanley Alozie, who is still at large, were alleged to have defrauded Akinyosoye on July 6, 2012, obtaining the sum of 640,000 naira from him under the pretense that the money will be used to purchase low-power fuel oil, LPFO. The victim's encounter with Odum began when Akinyosoye's company, Abipet Nigeria Limited, secured a contract to supply 2 trucks of the said low-power fuel oil. In the process of securing the product, Akinyosoye met Odum, who claimed he was a staff of the NNPC and can help him secure the products. Akinyosoye accepted the offer and gave Odum the sum of 640,000 naira to get the products. After collecting the money, Odum gave the victim an NNPC/PPMC product supply ticket with the number BB036867 and bridging notes purported to have been issued by NNPC to Akinyosoye. The victim later discovered that the ticket and bridging note were fake. All efforts by Akinyosoye to get his money back from Odum and his cohort proved abortive. Justice Agomo adjourned the matter to January 22nd and February 5th, 2015 for hearing of bail and commencement of trial. I am Golden Agu reporting for the Eagle.
Next is the special focus segment. On the segment, we'll bring you the concluding part of our interview with General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida. Kamil Legebi is standing by.
General Ibrahim Babangida, in the course of this interview last week, said the value of the naira to a dollar was 22 naira when he left office in 1993. But when he assumed power in 1985, the naira and dollar were almost at par. In terms of accounting for resources earnings, we can remember that during your regime, there was also this Gulf War, and Nigeria earned a lot of money. What happened to the Gulf War oil windfall?
First of all, that war lasted 3 months. 90-something days. It didn't last a year. Neither did it last for 1 year. So we get that facts straight. Secondly, the oil price at that time was below $18 per barrel. So there is no way you could make 12.4 billion in 3 months. I mean, simple common sense arithmetic. You couldn't have made that amount of money. But Pius Okigbo, he knows what he's doing. He has brain. And he said between 1986 or 1988 to 1994, monies that accrued to the federal government at that time was about that money you are calling windfall. Right? He said so. It's there in his book. Then the other thing he said the monies could have gone into, the phrase he used was generative investment. I'm not an economist, but I have an understanding of what this is. Our argument then was, if you have the money, why keep it and be looking at it that you have money when you have got a lot of other things that will benefit the ordinary man. So it's a school of thought difference, that's all. But that money was not stolen.
So where is the money?
It's what you see now in the country. Thank God
Most of the infrastructures we put in place are what you are using today, and proudly so.
What are these infrastructures that you are talking about?
I moved to Abuja, for example. I built Abuja. Today you have a brand new capital. We use that money. I gave you a 3rd mainland bridge. You cannot build it now for all the money Nigeria is going to have. And what did it cost me? 500, 600, 700 million. For those of us here, for the first time, a double carriageway was seen in the northern part of the country between Kaduna, Kano, and then linked it up from Abuja, Kaduna, Kano. First time in 1986. You cannot afford to do it now. You cannot afford to even touch it.
You talked about Abuja being a brand new city. Surprisingly, the city is perhaps the only modern capital without a rail transport system. How come you never thought of building a rail transport system, or was it not part of the master plan?
The first standard gauge railway was established during our regime. If you ever travel, just go to a place called Itakwe, trying to get into Delta. It is a standard gauge railway. So we put these things where we think the country will benefit from it.
If, as you said, you did so well, why then is the perception that your government and your person are the most corrupt in Nigeria? And are you worried about this perception?
No. You know why? Because now a lot of you can reflect. A lot of you can think back. A lot of you now are saying, yes, this is it. Agreed. Maybe if we try to tell you, you didn't like our faces at that time. You believe quite rightly, quite wrongly, that we are all crooks. Let them out. Let them out. And we bear no grudge whatsoever against anybody. But I know the time will come when they will say, after all, they have done something. And this is what is happening. Now, even our fiercest critics give us credit for certain things we do.
You are regarded as one of the wealthiest Nigerians living. How did you make your money?
That is if you believe I have the money. Again, well, okay, what is it? If you give me if you give me some facts that okay, throw it and say this is it, then I have cause to explain. But I know who I am. I know what I represent. I know what values I stand for. A lot of us will not make such stupid mistakes.
What are the investments of IBB?
Simple. Like any other Nigerian, and those are very simple. Let me tell you something. Maybe you have a hand in it. I have been the most investigated president Nigeria has ever had. By now, somebody should have come up forward to say, damn, here it is. Every government that came after me investigated me because of that perception, because you wanted to retrieve the billions I stole.
We interviewed General Olusegun Obasanjo and we asked him how he makes his money, and he told us that he is a big-time farmer. In your case, what do you do? How do you earn money?
My pension.
It was said that you have a stake in one of the telecoms companies. Is it true?
But that issue has been laid to rest for a long time. The Globacom came, they issued out statements. Nothing of that thing. Agreed, they are good, they are doing well, and I'm proud that they came up during our time. But I'm fairly very arrogant man. I don't plead. If you are good, it's good for us, go ahead and do it.
So what are your investments? You must have some investments sustaining you since you left office.
Will assure you that using my head, I came to one conclusion, that the best investment for someone like me is banking.
Which bank are we talking about here?
Again, investigate it.
We have observed a trend. Most Nigerian leaders come into office not comfortable financially, but by the time they are leaving, they become billionaires. Why is it so?
You said most. Let me tell you on my own. When I got into office, August of 1985, I made a declaration, and it is there in record. What I have, what I possessed, everything. And when I left, not much has changed. Before I became president, I was living in this environment. Nobody seemed to know that. I tried farming before I became president. I failed. So that's why I said I'm not going to touch it anymore. And so on. So it depends. I am also not sure that every president has left as a rich man. I know what they are. They are not.
But the talk at that time was that there was a rift between you and Buhari, and he wanted to dismiss you from the army.
No. Let me give you a lesson today. A coup or a change comes about if there is a frustration in the society. Let's get that right. There was a frustration in the society between 1984 to 1985. And the ground was fertile for any coup. It wasn't fertile, thanks be to God, in December when the first attempt on me was made. Neither was it fertile in 1990, April, when the second attempt was made. And we have the support of all of you sitting down here. You write, you analyze, you talk, you demonstrate it, you shout. It was not unusual then to hear, in the case of democratically elected government of 1983, a common phrase is, the worst military regime is better than this government. So they are giving us impetus to stage a coup. And we knew when you stage it, you will come to the street and clap for us. We are not dummies. If we don't have the support of all of you, we wouldn't venture into this.
We cannot end this interview without talking about June 12th. Why was it annulled?
We gave you a lot of reasons why we did. But, again, I understood the passion at that time. Everybody was fed up, everybody was tired. Just pack your things, buzz off, right? That's what happened. Again, because our thought process is always very limited and shallow and so on. First of all, on the 23rd of June, I was in the air. I told you why we had to do what we did. But I was also not, I was sensible enough to know that whatever I said, nobody is interested in hearing it. Nobody will believe me at that time. So the important thing is get out. And I will hate to say it, but it happened when we left, or when we annulled June 12, the same Nigerians supported the intervention of the military government. True or false? True, because you saw it. You are all big enough. Those who fought for June 12 ended up serving the military government that they didn't like. And that perpetuated the longer stay of the military.
Welcome back. With that, we've come to the end of this week's edition of the program. To be part of this program, please send your contributions to info@efccnigeria.org or search for us on Google Plus at Official EFCC or Official EFCCNG@gmail.com. You can also like our page on Facebook.com/Official EFCC or follow us on Twitter at Official EFCC. And to watch our programs and other activities, please log on to youtube.com/Official EFCC. My name is Aisha Gambari. Thank you for watching. God bless Nigeria.